Welcome back to the NoJitter News Desk here at Enterprise Connect 2023. Terry Sweeney here, contributing editor to NoJitter, and joining me now is John Rodriguez, Senior Manager for Enterprise Applications at T-Mobile. John, thank you for joining us on the NoJitter News Desk today.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having us.
We've been talking about the concept of the connected worker. For viewers who may be new to that term, talk a bit about what it is, how it's changing the way we think about the modern workplace.
Yeah. So actually, the connected worker is actually fascinating. So it's evolved in so many different ways. I like to define it as a worker who's being influenced by technology and digital means, right? So that includes everything from these powerful computers that we put into our pockets every day to being able to leverage the invisible airwaves around us for high-speed wireless technology such as 5G networks that carriers utilize, all the way to cloud-based systems that actually plug us into our internal networks and tools that we need on an everyday basis to actually function. And there's so much that goes into that these days in terms of cloud-based solutions that people really aren't aware of how much they're utilizing cloud in their workspace today. And that's changing the modern workplace. People are now expected to be more efficient, more reachable, accessible anywhere, anytime, on any device around us. No longer just the cell phone, right? It's any device.
Well, I'm struck by the fact that the connected worker has a variety of options for connectivity. It's not just like, that's my data line. Those days are gone.
Those days are long gone, yes. And then the whole modern workplace has evolved because no longer are we in an actual office anymore. That's definitely changed the whole landscape.
Interesting. Talk about how you see the connected worker helping to accelerate this whole digital transformation trend.
Okay, so I think the connected worker is helping to drive other types of communication. So by that I mean, it's no longer just the traditional voice that people want to communicate with. It's messaging. It's all sorts of messaging platforms, to even the consumer messaging platforms, because our customers are influenced by their customers. And there's a need for WhatsApp and WeChat and all these other means of communication.
Slack and Teams and the whole panoply of collaboration tools.
Yeah, and it's forcing customers to really want more flexibility in their communication systems, and thus the need to unify the communication platforms, right? Being able to provide enterprise-grade phone systems along with business messaging platforms in conjunction with collaboration tools, all under a single platform, is what we're kind of hearing from customers, what they're looking for.
Okay, you mentioned some of the options, I guess, that connected workers have at their availability. Talk about what you see as some of the essential elements of both communications and collaboration services for today's connected worker.
Okay, essential elements, I can rattle off a bunch of them, so I would kind of keep it simple, and that's actually one of the first ones. So simple, I hear that often from customers. They want simple, they want easy, they want scalability, and they want integrations. And last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this, AI, right? Sprinkled kind of all over it. So not complex. I think we've got enough complexity in our lives these days that we don't want more complexity. And that kind of leads into the simple statement. So customers want simple solutions that are easy to use and easy to manage. If you don't take the both into consideration, you're going to have solutions that aren't going to be adopted by your employee base, which are going to then just sit there and you're wasting your money.
Sure.
And on the flip side, the admin side has to also be considered, because you can't deploy things that are complicated to deploy and difficult to manage. So the two go hand in hand. I mentioned scalability, and I wasn't just talking about scalability in terms of sheer numbers, right? Low number of employee count versus high. That definitely has to be considered, but more scalability in terms of technology, right? Whatever you deploy needs to adjust to the changing demands that we are constantly faced with. Case in point, collaboration tools. If you don't have a stable bandwidth environment, you're going to hear that, right? In the actual end user experience, from a call or to a video call, you're going to see some flux in the jitter on the video itself, in and out, and that leads to a poor end user experience. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration, along with integrations into back-end platforms like help desk systems, CRM applications, ERP applications, and basic productivity tools. And then you sprinkle in, like I mentioned before, artificial intelligence for real-time information so that you can actually make get meaningful insights from the day-to-day activity of your employee base.
It seems to me that when we talk about digital transformation, really what's underneath the covers is this transition to cloud. I mean, all these services are migrating to the cloud,
Yes.
both from a service provider perspective, but also from the end users. And are those interchangeable? I'm curious about your perspective there.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot more go into the cloud, and we're actually helping so many customers across so many different industries leverage the cloud in so many ways. I can give you a handful of examples. From a finance perspective, we're seeing traders, wealth managers, we're helping them stay in compliance with their regulatory needs by offering them cloud solutions that are able to capture their voice conversations with their clients, their messages with their clients, and then offload that to their archival platforms. Doctors and patients being able to leverage cloud-based solutions to provide better health care. Same thing for drivers on the roads that we drive on, making the roadways safer because now they're able to utilize scorecards and better optimize the driving experience from a safety perspective.
Right, road conditions in real time.
In real time. And probably the best example I can give you is something that we use internal to T-Mobile. Basically a collaboration platform that unifies our entire experience, and one that has AI built into it, and I can't see ever going back to a day where I didn't use it.
Sure.
As an example, I actually no longer take notes if I'm utilizing that system because it records all my conversation, along with in a meeting, it'll record everyone's conversation, it'll capture it, it'll transcribe it, and I can easily access my conversation from a year ago if I remember just one nugget of information.
That's powerful. You talked a bit about customer requirements. Could we shift it slightly to talking about customer pain points that you're hearing about regularly from the customers that you're in contact with?
Yeah, pain points, besides the norm, what I consider the norm are cost savings and security.
Sure.
Others that I'm hearing about are connectivity agnostic solutions. They want to be able to leverage 5G services.
Sure.
Anywhere, anytime, on any device. The other big one is, especially this came out of the pandemic situation, there are too many tools out there.
Sure.
Companies have deployed multiple collaboration platforms or other productivity tools, and employees are kind of stuck with, I don't know which one to reach for to communicate with different people or groups, internal or external. It's confusing.
What does T-Mobile bring to the market that differentiates it from the competition?
Yeah, so T-Mobile is uniquely positioned, and probably more so because of our DNA. So we put the customer first, and everything that we do is really customer-centric first and foremost. So with that, we actually have created solutions for customers based on what we've actually heard from them in terms of pain points. We've hired internal folks that come from specific industries and have industry knowledge for years and years and years, so that not only can we hear a customer's challenge, things that keep them up at night, but also be able to intelligently talk to them in their language, in their lingo, about that industry. And that's powerful. But more so also on the side of being able to provide them with solutions, things like connecting people, places, and things.
Sure.
Collaboration tools. Dialpad is the solution that I use internally and our customers are taking advantage of. Multi-line is that solution that keeps traders and brokers compliant. Then we've got IoT solutions as well.
It's the full panoply. John, thank you so much for joining us on News Desk today. This is great context for cloud communications and collaboration. Really appreciate you joining us.
It's been my pleasure, Terry. Thank you.
We've been talking to John Rodriguez of T-Mobile. We are coming to you live here from Enterprise Connect 2023 in Orlando.